Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, The Passing Away of Bhishmadev, text number 42. Tam imam aham ajam sharira bhajam Ridi ridi dishtitam atmakalpitanam Pratid risham iva naika darkam mekam Samadhigatosmi viduta veda moha Tam imam aham ajam sharira bhajam Ridi ridi dishtitam atmakalpitanam Pratidrisham iva naikadarkam mekam Samadhigatosmi viduta veda moha Rigatosmi viduta veda moha Tamimam aham ajam sharira bhajam Ridi ridi dishtam atmakalpitanam Pratirisham ivan kaikakarkam ekam Samadhigatosmi viduta veda moha. Ladies. Tam imam aham ajam sharira bhajam Ridi ridi tishitam atmakalpitanam Pratidrisham iva nakadarkam ekam Samadhigatosmi viduta veda moha Tam, that personality of Godhead, Imam, now present before me, Aham, I, Ajam, the unborn, Sharira Bhajam, of the conditioned soul, Ridi, in the heart, Ridi, in the heart, Dishtitam, situated, Atma, the super soul, Kalpitanam, of the speculators, Pratidrisham, in every direction, Eva, like, Na, Ekada, not one, Arkam, the sun, Ekam, one only, Samadhi gata asmi, I have undergone trance and meditation. Viduta, being freed from, Veda moha, misconception of duality. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Shri Krishna, now present before me, because I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to His presence in everyone's heart, even the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Please repeat. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Shri Krishna, now present before me, because I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to His presence in everyone's heart, even the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna is the one absolute supreme personality of Godhead, but He has expanded Himself into multi-plenary portions by His inconceivable energy. The conception of duality is due to ignorance of His inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:11, the Lord says that only the foolish take Him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of His inconceivable energies. By His inconceivable energy, He is present in everyone's heart, as the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of His plenary portions. He expands Himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart. By His inconceivable energy, He also expands Himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahmajyoti by expansion of His personal glow. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahmajyoti is His personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between Him and His personal glow, Brahmajyoti, or His plenary portions as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahmajyoti and Paramatma to be different from Shri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishmadev, and he is now satisfied that it is Lord Shri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is obtained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. Vasudeva, Lord Shri Krishna, is the original Supreme Person, as now confirmed by a Mahajan, and therefore both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in His footsteps. That is the way of the devotional line. The worshipful object of Bhishmadev is Lord Shri Krishna as Parthasarathi, and that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavan as the most attractive Shyamasundara. Sundara. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that Krishna of Vrindavan and that of the Battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishmadev, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist object of destination is Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti, and the yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma. But in Brahmajyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shyamasundara of Vrindavan. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahmajyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishmadev realize all these different features of Lord Sri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna, knowing Him as the origin of all features. Tamimamaham ajam sharirabhajam ridi dhishtidam atmakalpitanam Patidrisham iva naikadarkam ekam samadhigatosmi viduta beta mohaha. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord Sri Krishna, now present before me, now because I have transcended the misconception of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Namo Vishnu Vraya Krishna Prasthaya Buddhaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Satarane. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains about his controlling power in different ways. In the 7th chapter, he says, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate satracharam hetuna nena kuntiya jagatvi parivartate. That this material nature works under my direction, producing all moving and non-moving beings, and by its rule, this manifestation is created again and again. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate satracharam hetuna nena kuntiya jagatvi parivartate. And besides that, let's see, is that 7th chapter? It should be 7th chapter. Maya dakshena prakriti is the 7th chapter or the 9th chapter? What's that? No, it's not 10, it must be 9. Okay, yeah. And before that, Krishna mentions Sarvabhutani Kontiya Prakriti Antimamikam Kalpashe Panastani Kalpado Vishrijamaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another creation, by my potency, I create them again. So it sounds like Krishna is quite involved. Everything's going into him and everything's going out of him. Of course, here he's talking about his aspect of Mahavishnu. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is, when he's speaking, he's not always speaking as Krishna. He's speaking of his different expansions also. So here he is speaking as Mahavishnu, Karna Daksha Vishnu. That Sarvabhutani Kondiya Prakriti Timamikam Kalpasheya Panaskatani Kalpado Vishvichamiham. So Krishna's, and all the material manifestations are entering into Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu, and then Krishna is creating everything again. So it sounds like he's quite active. Then he says, Prakritim Swamadishtaya, Prakritim Swamadishtaya, Vishrijami Punak Punak, Bhutagramam Imam Krishnam, Avasham Prakratir Vishat. This whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will it is created, automatically manifested again and again, and by my will it is annihilated at the end. So it sounds like Krishna is quite active in this whole thing. Things are entering into him. He's creating everything. He's manifesting things. He's annihilating things. So what does it mean that Krishna is not involved in the material nature? He's not responsible for what's going on. He's doing everything, apparently. But then he says, Nachamam tani bhutani, Nachamam tani karmani nivananti dhananjaya, udasinad vadasinam, asaktam teshu karmasu. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, situated as neutral. So he's like the judge. The judge is supposed to be neutral. He's not awarding someone a vast amount of money because he likes them, a good judge, a proper judge, but because of the activities of the person. Nor is he condemning anyone to death because he doesn't like his face. It's because of what the person did. And therefore, maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kuntiya jagati parivartate. That this material nature is one of my energies working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings, and by its rule this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So Krishna has empowered the material nature to act according to certain rules. And when the living entity comes into the material nature, then he becomes bound by those rules. And the material nature is not Krishna directly, it's his energy. But sattvam rajas samayiti guna prakriti sambhava nibbānati mahabaho dehi dehinam aviyam. The material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance. And when the living entity comes in contact with these modes, he becomes conditioned by them. And therefore, he becomes subjected to the laws. If he acts good, according to the mode of goodness, the laws, he follows the laws of nature, then he becomes elevated. He gets a better position in the material world. And if he acts against the laws of material nature, he acts sinfully under lust, anger, and greed, rather than following Krishna's directions, then he becomes degraded. And if he acts sometimes sinfully and sometimes following Krishna's direction, then he comes back to a place like Ljubljana. Some good, some bad. In any case, it's not Krishna who's propelling the living entity to act sinfully. It's the living entity's choice. Once he's put into the jail, then he has his choice. He can act like a good prisoner and gradually become eligible for freedom, or he can rebel against the jail, against the prison, and be put into progressively more difficult situations in it. That's the choice of the soul, of the person in the prison. Now, people don't know that. They don't know that Krishna is the goal of life. And therefore, they take something insignificant. So what is that insignificant? They're blind. Everyone in the material world is blind. They don't know Krishna. They're blind. The person who's controlling everything, the person who's in everyone's heart, samaham sarvabhuteshu, samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashava vinashantam yakpashyati sapashyati. That one who can see the super soul accompanying all souls and all bodies, and knows that neither the soul nor the supreme soul within all bodies is never destroyed, he actually can see. But they're blind. They don't see the soul, they don't see the super soul, they just see what's going on outside. And they have no idea how it's working. They're coming up with millions of speculations about what's the atom and how to break it, and black holes in the universe, but they have no idea how they're entered into a body according to the karma, and they're suffering and enjoying the results of this body, and according to how they act in this body, they get the next one. Therefore Krishna says, Ukramantam siddhim vapi bunjana vabugunam dita vimudana pashanti pashanti jnana chakshusha. One is called a mudha if he doesn't know how the living entity quits his body, or what kind of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. Only ones whose eyes are trained with knowledge can actually see all this. Yatanto yoginas chayanam pashantnyadmam vivastita yatanto yakritatmano naiva pashanti chetasa. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose eyes are not trained, although they may try, they cannot see what's taking place. They're trying in every which way to understand things, but they're blind. Why? Because they're following other people who are also blind. They've rejected Krishna, and therefore they've accepted some less intelligent person as their leader, and they're following them, and therefore whatever the leader gets into, whatever the destination of their leader is, they've unfortunately fallen to the same destination, which is not full of bliss and full of knowledge eternally. Therefore, in the verse where Krishna says, Abhijunanti mamudha manushim tanumashrityam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. It's not an option to understand Krishna. People don't think it's very important to understand Krishna because they think he's just an ordinary person. They think Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he's telling us our body's changing, but we're not changing. But this is just ordinary knowledge, according to them. They don't even believe it, that their bodies are changing and that they're not changing. Therefore, even the first instruction they won't accept. What to speak of anything else? What to speak of that we're being guided by Paramatma, that there's a supreme intelligence within our heart who's moving the sun in its orbit, who's created this body by which we can eat something, the food gets digested, gets assimilated, and the unwanted parts are eliminated. They think it's all by accident. Satyam apratishtam te jagara horanishwaram aparashparam sambhutyam kimanya kamahaitukam. They say that all these people who are not devotees, all the demons, they say that this world is unreal, has no foundation, has no God in control, is produced of sex desire and has no other cause than lust. That the planets are moving their orbits exactly in time, all by accident. This body is created in such a way is that we can digest food and assimilate it, all by everything's an accident. The only thing that's not an accident is when they get their PhD degree. That they have to work for, with their intelligence to get that, so they can declare everything else as an accident. And other fools, they follow them. Therefore, mogaisha moga karamano, moga jnana vichetasaha, rakshase masrim chaiva, prakriti mohanim shritaha. We may think it's an option, these Hare Krishnas, they've chosen some aborigine coward boy in Vrindavan, and they're following him blindly because they're fools. But it's not an option. Their hopes of liberation, their cultivation of knowledge, and their fruitive activities are all vanquished. They don't know how to work in the material world. They don't know what karma is. They don't know what vikarma is. Therefore, they think we can have illicit sex, we can take intoxication, we can kill animals, we can speculate and gamble, and it's all right because we just go to God and He came and he suffered for us, and He'll keep on suffering for us. But Krishna doesn't say that. Mogaisha moga karmana. Everything they're doing is a waste of time. They'll be defeated. Defeated in what way? They'll have come back and struggle again. What is everyone struggling for? Nowadays they have two teams, football teams, whether here they have soccer, and they're kicking a ball, and someone kicks the ball into the goal, and the other team is defeated. Defeated. And people start crying and lamenting on one side and cheering on the other side. We've won. We won what? You're going to hell. You think your team won. You've just increased your sinful activities during the game, prolonging your stay in hell by an unlimited time. And now you think you've won. You won what? You've been defeated by the illusory energy. The real thing, what is it? Paravastava dabodha jato yavan jignasita atmatadvam yavan kriyatavadidam vinovai karmatmaka yena sharira bandha. Paravas, you've been defeated. What is that? Paravas, Abba. The working hard, foam at the mouth, fear, and then death. You're completely defeated by the illusory energy. You're trying to get out of your miseries, but you're only increasing them. Therefore Krishna says, Daiviyeshu gunamayi mama maya dharatya mama ye prapadyante mayam etan tarantite. That was wrong. Anyhow, Daivi Mahatmanas tumam partha, Daivi prakriti mashitya, bhajantya nanyamana so, gyatva avyam. Those who are great souls, they're under the divine energy of myself. They're fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So those are the persons who are not defeated. They're under the blissful energy. They're under the energy which will reveal our eternality. That would actually give us real knowledge. And how do they get there? Sadatam kirtiyanto mam yatantas chadrida vrataha namasyantas mam bhaktya nityukta upasate. So to become a Mahatma is not so difficult, although it is difficult. It begins with chanting Hare Krishna, chanting about Krishna's glories. Chanting, not just chanting Hare Krishna, snake, snake, ram, ram, day, 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 hey, kitty, kitty, hey, kitty. No, it's not just chanting like that. It's actually with knowledge that Krishna is the only shelter. We have to take shelter of Krishna. He's our only hope for shelter. Everything else is like taking shelter of the tail of a dog who's trying to swim across the ocean. You may think for a few minutes that now I have shelter, the dog will help me cross the ocean, but it's not going to last very long. You and the dog will both sink somewhere. Therefore, when we're chanting, we're not just chanting Hare Krishna, we're also explaining what Brahman is, what Paramatma is, and ultimately what the destination is, Bhagavan. That we have to understand, how they're all related, and then we can actually chant Hare Krishna with real conviction, with drita. First of all, chant about it, then follow it, drita, with some kind of determination, some kind of vow. Then we'll actually realize it. Namasyantasimam bhaktya nityukta upasate. Then we'll actually realize how great Krishna is. Otherwise, it's just a theory, how great Krishna is. And therefore we think that I'm independent, I can do what I want. And then we fall into the control of the illusory energy as soon as we forget Krishna. As soon as we stop taking shelter of Paramatma, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, his representatives outside, we're all under the control of Paramatma. Then we fall into the illusory energy and we start imagining ourselves as fruitive actors or speculators or great controllers of the material energy. And then we're defeated. Because we haven't taken shelter of the actual Mahatma, the Acharya. We think we can speculate what the Acharya said. We think the Acharya, I read Prabhupada's books, and I take something I like, and I say that's the standard for me. It doesn't matter whatever anyone else says, whatever else that Prabhupada said or Krishna said, doesn't really matter. I've taken shelter of this verse that I like, and I've rejected everything else. Therefore, we're defeated by the illusory energy because we haven't understood even that one verse we think we're taking shelter of. We don't see the precise consistency of everything within the scriptures, how it all fits together, like Bhishma Deva sees here. Then we're defeated by the illusory energy. And who are those people? Yana Jagnena Chapyanye Yajanto Upasate Ekatvena Pritakvena Buhudo Vishvato Mukam. There are others who aren't Mahatmas. And who are those? Well, that's us. And why are we not Mahatmas? Because we fit into 4 categories, lower than the Mahatma. We perform devotional service, but chatura vida bhajante mam janaskritin arjuna artha jignasi artharati gyani chabharatarshava. Because we want fruitful results from our work. We want freedom from distress, we want comfort, we want so many things from Krishna. Therefore we think there's Krishna there, and then there's Krishna's energy here, and I want Krishna to arrange the energy. We see duality. We see Krishna as different from his energies. I can get away with getting something from Krishna and bye-bye Krishna when I get what I want. See you next Janmashtami. Or the mental speculators. I want knowledge, I want to understand how to get liberated, and once I'm liberated, bye-bye Krishna, I've gotten what I want. Prabhupada was saying, he was walking up the hill with Bhavananda in New Vrindavan. Bhavananda Prabhu was helping Prabhupada up the hill, and when they got up the hill, Prabhupada took Bhavananda's hand and threw it away and said, I don't need you anymore. So Bhavananda Prabhu was quite shocked. And then Prabhupada said, yes, it's like the impersonalists. They take shelter of Krishna, and then when they become liberated, then they say, bye-bye Krishna, we don't need you anymore. Get lost. Or even Durga Puja for the fruit of activities. Ma. They worship Durga during Durga Puja, and afterwards they take the deity and they throw it into the ocean. Bye-bye deity, we don't need you. So even lower than them, these four classes of persons who take shelter of Krishna for some gain, then there is the impersonalists who take shelter of Brahman. They're even lower. So you go all the way up to the four classes, the Jnani. But then if you don't realize Krishna and take it further, then you become an Asura Bhava Ashritya. You become a demon. You merge in Brahman. You join with the other demons in Brahman. So they're even considered lower than the four classes. In other words, you think you're making progress. I'm now merging. I was a Jnani. I had the opportunity now to understand Krishna, like Shukadeva Goswami, but I rejected it, and I merged into Brahman, and therefore, as was pointed out yesterday by Archita Prabhu, Kaivaya Narakayade. Now my consciousness has become hellish. And even lower than them, because we keep on going down. Then there's those who worship the demigods. I know some of I gave one class in Russian, and my teacher was saying I should ask them about the demigods they have on their altar. Because we asked them to see all their altars on the video, all the different devotees in Russia and Ukraine. And there's Shiva, there's Durga, there's Ganesh, and everyone else. And there's also Krishna somewhere. So they're even lower than the impersonalists. They think every form is equal to Krishna, and they can worship any form. They'll get the same result. And the lowest of all of them are the those who what do they call them? The pantheists. They think the universe is a manifestation of God. Everything here is divine because it's all God. There's no person, it's just all the universe. And the lowest of all, the complete lowest, are the Buddhists. The voidists. Even the material world is not real. Nothing is real. It's all void. They're completely crazy. Therefore, Shankaracharya, Krishna came as Lord Buddha to bewilder people because they had sunk so low that they were killing animals. So to prevent them from getting even lower, he propounded voidist philosophy because that was attractive, because they were already going down by killing animals, using the Vedas as a pretext. So he propounded something even lower. People when you're going down, wow, that's the next step down. Voidism, that's great. But actually, the idea was to worship Buddha, follow some regulation, do some worship. Stop killing animals, do some worship. Even you think of the void, there's no void. The only thing void is in between the two ears of the scientist. That's where the void is. But then he defeated them. He came as Shankaracharya and drove them out. Krishna first sent Buddha and himself came as Buddha. And then when things got right, he accomplished his his purpose, then he came as Sankaracharya and drove the Buddhists away. And then he drove Sankaracharya, the impersonalists, away, coming as the Acharyas, defeating them. So there's a progression. Either we go up or we go down. And if we don't keep on going up, then eventually we wind up going down. That's the way it works, the Ferris wheel. So one has to understand how everything is related to Krishna, not just hearing about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan with the gopis, and then smoking a beedi after the end of the Bhagavad Saptaha, because we're gopis. No, we have to understand everything clearly. So we utilize Krishna's energy in his service. We come in contact with Paramatma. We become aware of what he wants, what he doesn't want. And then we willingly go to the goal of Krishna. And if we don't do that, then we stop somewhere, and the material nature drags us down. Especially as Archibald pointed out yesterday, that verse from the 12th canto, Tatascha Dharma Kshatram Socham Dhamashama Balena Kalira Rajan Nakshatnino Balam Smriti. Kali Yuga just drags everyone down. Every day people are giving up Dharma. So this is real Dharma. We have to understand it completely. Otherwise, and Tatascha Dharma Sattvam Socham Dhamashama, then our cleanliness, our mercy, our tolerance, everything will go down. Kalene Balira Raja. We're in Kali Yuga. It's very strong. Nakshatrana Balam Smriti. We'll lose our memory, spiritual memory. We'll lose our intelligence. We'll lose our lives. We'll lose everything if we don't take shelter of Krishna. And we'll wind up in the lower species of life. We may be very proud that I've been appointed to Krishna to wipe out so many people in this world. I'm so powerful. And next lifetime I become a worm or a bacteria in a worm. And I won't be so much powerful very soon. Therefore, the conclusion is that we have to study Bhagavad Gita, study these books, try to make some progress, or else we're in a very dangerous situation in Kali Yuga. And Maya, she doesn't think, well, he's a devotee, I'm not going to bother him anymore. Unless we understand the value of living in the association of devotees to remind us about Krishna, and the value of living in the association of devotees so Krishna can arrange that they can train us up one way or the other, so that we can give up our false ego, give up our false sense of proprietorship, give up our illusory desires, our mental concoctions, and regulate our senses, engage in Krishna's service. Then the result is, we'll be dragged down by the modes of material nature into who knows where we're going to go. Nite vidu swarthagatim hi Vishnu. We don't know where we're going to go. Our destination is unknown. Otherwise, as I said, they put up a statue of Napoleon every year and worship him. Big statue in Paris. Wipe off all the bird dung that was offering during the year. Put a garland on the statue, sing some praises of Napoleon, and then leave. And then afterwards, the birds come back and make their offerings on top of his head. And who knows, maybe one of those birds is Napoleon himself. No one can really say. Can't say it's not. So we shouldn't be defeated by the illusory energy, or else we're just wasting our lives. We're being defeated and we're gaining victory when we chant Hare Krishna, serve with determination, accept our humble position as simply an instrument for Krishna. Otherwise, material nature will defeat us. And then we'll get the reaction, and the devotees will remind us, and hopefully we'll realize I better start taking this Hare Krishna movement seriously. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I was questioning myself that what is the real meaning of that the soul is situated in the heart? Because what about the living entities without the heart, and if we get transplantation of the heart, and how is the real understanding of this location of the soul?
Anadidvamanir gunadvat paramatmayam aviyam sharira stopikontayana karoti nanalipyate. Those who can see with the eyes of eternity can see that the soul is transcendental, eternal, beyond the modes of material nature. Despite contact with the material body or Arjuna, the soul is doing nothing, nor is he entangled. So the soul is in the material world. He's trapped by illusion, but he's in the heart. Doesn't mean he's in the physical heart of the body. He's in the physical. He's somewhere situated in the physical heart, but he's not part of the material heart. It's not when you do a heart transfer that you transfer the soul. No, he's situated. It's just like you're in the car. You don't become the car, but you're in the car. So he's in the heart. Didn't say he became the heart. He's in the heart. So the heart of living entities that don't have a heart, everyone has a heart. He has some kind of heart. Otherwise, how can you be alive if you didn't have some kind of heart? Something there. It may not look like our heart. You know, this beautiful heart. Love. But they have a heart too. That's why they have girlfriends. Even the snakes have girlfriends. Because they have a heart. Is that right? Okay, anything else? Yes. Archie.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice words. Since today is the anniversary of Prabhupada taking sannyas, the topic of sannyas is always debated in ISKCON because there's that verse, Ashwamedha Gavalamam sannyasa palapaitaka devarena satopatim kalo panchavavarjaya, that these 5 things shouldn't be done in Kali Yuga, and it includes sannyas. So sometimes the devotees are confused. If that verse says sannyas should not be taken, then why do we give sannyas in ISKCON? Why did Prabhupada take sannyas? So maybe that you can say a few words about that. And
just a few words. Is that it? The Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Madhvacharya. So many great personalities in our disciplic succession also took sannyas. Madhavendra Puri took sannyas. So the type of sannyas that's forbidden is Mayavadi sannyas in this age. The sannyas, as Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, is eternal. Nashitya karampalam karyam karam karotiya sasanyasitra yogicha nirna chakriya. One who is unattached to the results of his work and who works is obligated is the renounced out of life. He who works nights no fire, performs no work. So work for Krishna is sannyas. There may be formal sannyas, whatever that we take, but the real sannyas is to give up the material concepts of life and act as an instrument for Krishna. Therefore, it's etam astaya paramatma nishta adyasita purvatimara maharshivi aham tarishami aham taram mukam taro. I will take shelter of Paramatma with my heart, and therefore I'll cross over this material existence by taking shelter of Mukunda. Etamasraya Paramatma Nishta Adyatmita Purvatamara Mahadbi Aham Turishami Turam Taparam Mukom Mukundangri Nisheva Yaiva. So that's the real sannyas. That was the prayer, I think it's in the 11th canto, of a devotee who's taking sannyas, taking shelter of Mukunda, crossing over the material nature. All right. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.